Mr. Berry, for your client, Mr. Granger. What do you want to do? What does he want to do?
Mr. Granger stands ready to enter pleas as proposed by the prosecutor, limited access 1 to 5, and the littering charge.
How old are you, Mr. Granger?
I'm 53 years old.
This is the city of Detroit versus Ronald Keith Granger.
Your Honor, Mr. Granger would avail himself of the people's offer to allow him to enter pleas to limited access 1 to 5 miles over the limit and the charge of littering.
Mr. Granger, you're 53 years old?
Yes, sir.
And you still find it necessary to throw your trash, your garbage that you didn't want on your person, and just litter it on the streets for everybody else to have to pick up after you?
No, sir. It wasn't like it sounds. I had a water bottle sitting on top of my bike and it fell off. I didn't pick it up right away. So I wouldn't call that like I was just littering in the city of Detroit.
It took the officer to make you pick it up, though?
Pardon me?
You didn't stop and pick it up on your own, did you?
Sir, I would have picked up the water bottle, not a problem. But I felt like the officer was also kind of picking on me.
And you say that, how is that?
Sir, I don't know if you ever experienced anything like this, but you know, being a black man, it's kind of rough out here for us.
I'm a black man too.
Yeah, I understand that, but sir, I haven't got any tickets and been in any kind of trouble in years.
All I'm talking about. Okay. Let's break it down. You got pulled over for going 53 miles an hour in a 35-mile-an-hour zone. All right. Now,
yes, sir.
Are you trying to tell me that you weren't doing 53 miles an hour in a 35-mile-an-hour zone?
Sir, I believe I was.
Okay, so with that answer right there, where is Corporal Hoyt?
He's in the break now.
We're gonna have him in on this conversation too, because you're talking about somebody that's picking on you. With that answer right there, you're going 53 in a 35-mile-an-hour zone. You don't think that the officer can pull you over for going almost 20 miles an hour over the speed limit? You call that him picking on you?
Hey, sir, it was more like this, okay? I was cruising my bike. I didn't realize the fact that I was going this fast. And I was on great.
Let me stop you. I asked you a simple question. You don't think you already agreed and admitted to saying I was doing that over the speed limit. You don't think that the officer can pull you over for that?
Yes.
So how is that picking on you?
Yeah, and I really don't have anything to say. I wasn't intentionally.
How is that picking on you? because I'm not gonna let you come in here and try to pull the black card when you are in the wrong right off the rip.
I mean, Your Honor,
And you're 53 years old, and we have this narrative that and I agree that sometimes you do get picked on, but you're not getting picked on right now doing 53 and a 35. You speeding, and you got caught.
but what I'm saying, Your Honor, at this time, I didn't really think I deserved to get 4 tickets, period, at one time. And I know I had my proof of insurance. I know that should have been threw off right off the rip. And
Okay. And that is getting thrown out. But Corporal Hoyt, can you put your appearance on the record, please?
Elwood S. Berry Jr. on behalf of Mr. Granger.
Corporal Hoyt, can you put your appearance on the record, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Corporal Nicholas Hop, badge 1789, Detroit Police Department.
All right.
May it please now report Dante Goss, P60162, on behalf of the people.
Mr. Granger, I'm not gonna allow that. It's too many people that can and rightfully raise that claim about being picked on because they're black. But in this case, you already admitted to doing 53 in a 35. All Corporal Hope is doing is trying to keep the streets safe and you safe.
yes, I understand. I understand, Your Honor, but at the same time, Gratiot Avenue, I never really knew that you have to be doing 35 miles per hour down Gratiot Avenue. I've been driving down here for years, and I've never been pulled over, Your Honor, on Gratiot.
Okay,
And
okay,
plus,
let me stop you there then. I'll let you say that. Now, whose fault is that? That you don't know that on a city street, if you don't see a speed limit sign, you don't know the rules for that? You need to go get yourself some driver re-education then, because if you don't see a speed limit sign, the speed limit is 35.
I understand, Your Honor.
So don't come in here blaming anybody. You got to check yourself first. You feel me?
Yes, I hear you. I understand, Your Honor.
All right, Corporal Hoyt, what's going on with this littering?
This littering happened while on the traffic stop. He ended up purchasing, I believe, a water bottle from the gas station. While on scene, he ended up either finishing it and then tossing it onto the ground. So therefore, I issued them the citation for the littering.
All right, he indicates that it just fell on the ground. Did you see this thing get tossed on the ground?
I did see him toss it. I did tell him to pick it up, at which time he told me he just walked off. He didn't want to pick it up. If he would have picked it up, I wouldn't have written the citation. I understood he was a little frustrated at that time, usually with that he was not on the bike and tossed it, somewhere in a different direction. It was in his vicinity where he could have picked it up and just, left the location.
All right, so now we face to face, we man to man, Mr. Granger. What you got to say about that? Did it go down like that or not?
Pardon me?
Did it go down like that or not?
Yeah, it kind of went down like that.
That's face to face, man to man. All right. What you gonna do, Counselor?
Your Honor, Mr. Granger wishes very much to avail himself of the offer to enter pleas to limited access 1 to 5 miles over and the littering charge, Your Honor.
as for the littering charge, what I'm gonna say about it is, well, and the reason why, I'm definitely being hard on you, Mr. Granger, because you made that initial statement that you feel that you're being picked on because you're black. And I'm not gonna let that statement go lightly, because if it is a case situation where I felt that that was actually the case, then I would delve more into that with the officer. But in this situation, the initial thing you said automatically was I was doing 53 in a 35. Now, I understand nobody likes getting pulled over, nobody likes getting caught, but it happens. I know traffic is going up Gratiot. Everybody's doing almost that, but that's why Corporal Hoyt is there, so they can slow down so our kids and their families and people riding their bikes and other drivers, that they can go up and down the street safely. Now, what I do feel is that you were mad and you didn't. I look at you a little differently now, as opposed to when I thought that you were just out here just throwing trash out, and that's why initially you got stopped. You got stopped because you were speeding, and then you were mad, so out of spite, you want to go throw something on the ground. Is that how it went?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, just for the record, I had a in-depth conversation with Corporal Holt, and this offer is because Corporal Holt asked for it. I wanted something different, but I gave deference to Corporal Holt for this light offer. Just for the record.
All right, and I appreciate that. I've always known Corporal Holt to come in here and be fair, and that's why I'm taking it to this level. But I also want Mr. Granger to recognize that before you come in here and cast those aspersions, you got to check yourself at the door. And then there's a point where, probably if you weren't mad, if you would have known the rules to the road and known that 35 miles an hour is the speed limit, if you would have known the rules yourself, you probably had this whole situation probably would have rolled a lot differently, because you wouldn't have had that attitude with the officer.
Right, sir. But on a regular, Your Honor, I don't speed. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I work. I normally obey the law, period.
I got that. But you can't say you don't speed because you admitted to speeding. You don't know the rules of the road. You need to check the rules of the road. And you would have known that Gratiot is 35 miles an hour. We're not saying that you're some kind of super criminal or nothing. All I'm saying is that, first of all, when you get pulled over, no matter whether you feel that you're right or you're wrong, or you feel that the officer's wrong, you need to check yourself and check your attitude. And then you come into court and deal with it, because you probably just would have been dealing with just a speeding ticket, or maybe you might not have been dealing with nothing. He could have said, I'm just going to give you a warning.
Yeah, Your Honor, after my bike got impounded and I went down there and paid $300 to get my bike out, I was a little frustrated. I was a little angry. And I wish I hadn't went off like that, but sometimes things happen in the spur of the moment, without you're thinking with all your sense,
I got you. All right. There's Mr. Goss. Mr. Berry, why don't you, based on what you said, what you heard or your clients say, why don't you go in the breakout room with Corporal Hoyt and Mr. Goss and see what you can do for if you can just have a conversation with them to see what they can do. And now that the situation has calmed itself down And I think that what I hear Mr. Granger saying is that he has regret for how the thing transpired. And I think that's what I hear him saying. I think I hear him saying that he did act out of anger, but I wanted him to make sure that he knew that it's your obligation, if you're going to be it's your obligation to know all the rules of the road, and they're all written. I know you've been driving probably longer than I have, and you haven't had driver education in a long time, but they're all written down, sir. So go ahead in the breakout room and see. I'm particularly, I was really upset about this littering thing. So go in the breakout room and talk to Mr. Goss, and then Corporal Hoyt. Join that room again, Mr. Goss and Hoyt, and see what you guys can talk about. All right.
Sure.
All right. Let's go back on the record with Mr. Granger. Mr. Granger, I've given you an opportunity to speak with Mr. Berry in a breakout room. Very, very good defense lawyer. Mr. Berry, what does your client want to do? Were you able to work out anything?
Yes, Your Honor, we have. As to the charge, the 11 to 15 miles per hour over, the prosecutor is offered, and my client would avail himself of the offer to plead to limited access 1 to 5 miles per hour over. And the prosecution is amenable to an adjournment on the driving without cycle endorsement charge.
And then the other matters dismissed?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right, why don't we do this then? Why don't we just adjourn this all, set it for another pretrial date on how many days is that going to be for that cycle endorsement? How long is it going to take you to get that endorsement, Mr. Granger?
I can work on that as soon as possible. Maybe I can set up an appointment to go down there next week.
Why don't we? Well, I'll give them 60 days to get this cycle endorsement. I wrote the offer down, limited access, 1 to 5. We can take care of it all in 60 days once he gets that cycle endorsement. What I want you to do, sir, is bring that cycle endorsement with you in 60 days, and bring the proof of insurance to the vehicle or to the bike, and then we will. Now, what they're willing to dismiss the littering charge?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right, we will. We'll come back in 60 days and we'll take care of this stuff. All right. I wrote the offer down. Go ahead.
Your Honor, if I just plead guilty to, okay, Your Honor, I'll take that off.
Who was that? Who was that? Who was that in the background that you're talking to?
My girlfriend.
Who was that very smart young lady that you're talking to? Let me speak to her, please. Miss Harris. That's Miss Harris.
Good morning, Your Honor. I work from home, so I got rollers in my hair. I work for the state of Michigan. I'm a foster care supervisor, so I'm familiar with the court system. So I'm just trying to advise them.
I mean, and I wouldn't necessarily say you advise him because he's got a very good lawyer on the line. Yes. But he doesn't seem like he's listening to him. But at the end of the day, you've heard everything that went down today. How do you feel about it?
I think that Mr. Granger should take accountability, just like he said, and listen to the court. Listen to his attorney.
All right. I mean, I don't understand what's his apprehension. You know, I really just wanted, you know, get that. Let's stop this. Let's use that narrative about messing with black in the cases of George Floyd and stuff. Let's not do that about speeding 53 down Gratiot. Let's not go there like that.
Yes.
So he needs to, come back with a cycle endorsement license, come back with proof of insurance. Maybe it might get better for him.
Yes.
But he just wants to plead guilty and stuff, and he can do that if he wants. All right.
No, Your Honor, we're not gonna do that.
All right. August the 3rd, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. Come back with that stuff, all right, Mr. Granger?
Okay, you say August the 3rd?
August the 3rd, write it down.
Okay,
2022 at 8:30 a.m.
okay.
All right, have a good day. And
All right,
you
thanks.
as well, Ms. Harris.
You too, Your Honor. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.